Hello everyone, welcome to the TOSH Pilates video library. My name is Hillary Brown and this is the second video of what we'll be covering a pelvic placement. So you can always reference to the first video and our basic videos as a review, all on our TOSH YouTube channel. And so today I will be covering proper pelvic placement and the difference between imprint and neutral spine, and give you some basic exercises to familiarize yourself with it, and then some exercises that you may be familiar with where you can apply this knowledge. So let's get started. We're going to be laying down on your back. Okay. And what I'd like you to do is just place your fingertips and thumb tips together, and then your fingertips will go above your pubic bone, and then your heels of your hands will be resting on your hip bones. My feet are hip distance apart, okay? And then I want you just to notice the space, or lack thereof, of your low back in connection with where the mat is. All right, so when you're in a neutral spine, ideally there's a little bit of a space there. And you probably have heard it said before, enough for a grape or a marshmallow. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to go over your imprint, all right? So imprint is an action of the obliques and the abdominals. They contract to bring your hip bone tips towards your bottom rib tips. So that takes your pelvis in a posterior tilt, and your low back will connect with the mat. Okay, so start in your neutral pelvis. And that means go ahead and look up and see, and that your fingertips and thumbs are in one line. So they're parallel to the floor on the same plane. And then when we exhale, engage your abdominals and obliques. That's what does the action of the curl of the pelvis. And then notice that your fingertips probably went higher towards the ceiling. Okay, and then inhale, lengthen back out, soften the ribs, to find your neutral. Exhale, contract your abdominals to curl the pelvis, and then inhale, lengthen back out to a neutral. All right, so we're just doing pelvic rocks here. Exhale, I want you to feel your imprint muscles, and then exhale, lengthen back out into your neutral. Exhale one more time, take your imprint, so low back connects to the mat as if you were squishing that grape or marshmallow. And then finding your neutral spine. Good. All right, now let's take it into a bridge. So hands will be down by your sides. Okay, exhale, start to curl your tail, roll through your imprint position to start to lift your hips, and then one backbone at a time until you get up nice and high to where there's one long line from your knees to your ribs. Okay, so we're not an extension. I want you to find a neutral spine with your hips up. Butt is on. Inhale, pause. Exhale, soften your heart, then your ribs, and then lower down your spine one bone at a time, and the hips land very last. Then you come into your neutral. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, scoop your belly to tilt the pelvis. Roll through your imprint, rolling up one bone at a time. Inhale, pause at the top. Exhale, lengthening to lower down one bone at a time. And then you get to relax. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your tail, scoop your belly, rolling up one bone at a time. Inhale, pause at the top. And then exhale, rolling all the way down. Bring your hands to your thighs. This is called slant board pelvis. Right, so just a little bit, I like this because it gives you a nice inventory of where your hips are at, where your pelvis is at. So inhale, prepare. Exhale, contract your abdominals to roll through your imprint. Roll up one bone at a time. When you're at the top of your bridge, press your hip bones into your forearms. So there might be a gap there. I want you to fill the gap by tilting the pelvis, not using your back, okay? Inhale, pause at the top, and then exhale, roll all the way back down. We'll do that again. Inhale, pause. Exhale, curl your tail, use your abdominals to lift your hips up. Okay, glutes will turn on. Press your hip bones into your forearms. Exhale, roll back down. Hands will slide up the thighs. Inhale, pause, adding on here. Exhale, roll through your imprint position. Glutes turn on to lift the hips and the spine. Okay, now inhale, bring your arms back overhead. Leave your arms there, and then exhale, soften through your spine, rolling down just as you did before. Bring your hands back to your thighs. Exhale, curl and lift the hips, rolling through the spine. Inhale, reach your hands back behind you. Exhale, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Good, one more like that. Hands to the thighs. Exhale, curl and lift the hips. Inhale, reach your arms back behind you. Exhale, rolling down. Good, let's do one more for fun. Okay, so use your abdominals. Abdominals stay on the whole time. Okay, so belly is in. Inhale, reach your hands back behind you. Exhale, keep your belly on. And then roll down one bone at a time. Hands can come down by your hips, rolling back up into your bridge. Okay, so hips are staying even. And then you don't want them to dip side to side. We're going to go into single leg. Okay, so inhale, float your right leg up to what we call tabletop. It's a 90-degree angle of the hip and the knee. And then exhale, place your foot back down. And this is a good opportunity to reassess and make sure that your pelvis is even and square. Inhale, float the left leg up. Exhale, place it back down. And inhale the right leg up. Exhale, place it back down. Reassess. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Place it back down. Reassess. One more on each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling and do a little bit of a lower and a lift. We call them pulses. So they're not bounces. You're pushing and pulling. Okay, so lower your hips a quarter of an inch and then lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold. Exhale, roll all the way down. Nicely done. You can sway your knees side to side. I got a little booty burn. All right, so now I'd like you to find your neutral spine and pelvis. Okay, so bring out your triangle again if you need. Engage your abdominals without doing your imprint. All right, so we're going into tabletop on the right leg. All right, now we're going to add on, if you can maintain your neutral spine, here, stay there as you inhale, lower the leg as if you're dipping your toe in water, and then exhale, pull it back up. Okay, so the optimal goal is to be able to hold your neutral spine as you do this. If you find that you can't or you have low back pain, I want you to take your imprint, okay? So that will help stabilize the spine until your core, your abdominals get strong enough to hold your neutral. Okay, let's do two more. Inhale, lower the leg. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Place that right foot down. Go ahead, just take a little reassessment of your neutral spine. Okay. Exhale, pull your abdominals in. Inhale, float your left leg to tabletop. Toe dip down towards the mat. Exhale, use your abdominals to float the leg back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Good. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. So what I'm feeling for is if my hips are moving at all. Okay, so if they are, what I want you to do is just hold your leg in tabletop. That's a great place to start. Okay, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Let's do two more. Inhale, lower. Belly pulls the leg up. Belly stays engaged as you lower. Exhale, lift. Place that foot on the mat. So if that was challenging for you to hold your neutral, I want you to stay there and continue doing the single leg, right? And then we're going to the next level is engage your abdominals, hold your neutral spine if you can, and then float your right leg up to tabletop, and then pull your abdominals in even more and float the left leg up to tabletop. So pretty quickly, you'll be able to feel If you cannot maintain a neutral here, because it'll go into your low back will arch more, all right? So then no big deal if that's the case. What I want you to do is take your imprint position. So press your low back down into the mat by using your abdominals, okay? And then we're gonna do single leg toe dips here. Inhale, lower the right leg. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower the left leg. Exhale, up. Continue here, inhale, lower. So the degree of the hip changes and the degree of the knee stays the same. Only lower your foot as far as you can to where you can maintain your spine position, whether that be in imprint or in a neutral spine. Okay, let's do 2 more on each side. Right, I'm feeling my abs working. Inhale, exhale up, inhale, exhale up. Nice. Okay, the progression of that is double leg. All right, so only lower your toes as far as you can to where you can maintain your neutral or imprint position. Inhale, lower both legs. Exhale, lift. If this is too much, then you just go back to single leg or 1 foot down, single leg. Good. So only lower as far as you can to where your spine and your pelvis don't change. Okay, and then think about pulling your belly button away from your waistband. Let's do 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling, lower, exhale, lift, lower 1 foot down, and then the other. Good. I got a little tremble of truth on those last few. It's where your belly is working so hard, you start to tremble. All right, so next progression of that. Okay, let's bring your hands behind your head, right? And then find your neutral spine or your imprint, okay? And you'll float 1 leg to tabletop, and then exhale, lift the other leg. Straight legs up towards the ceiling. Go ahead, lift your head, neck, and chest, right? Inhale, lower your right leg down, and then exhale, lift it back up. Inhale, lower the left leg. Exhale, back up. Good. So my spine is flexed. My pelvis is in a curled position. So it may feel like you're in an imprint, okay, which is appropriate. Good. Last 2. Inhale, lower the leg. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower the leg. Exhale, lift. Lower down. Bend your knees. Lower 1 foot and then the other. Sway your knees side to side. Good. All right, we're going to roll up. I'm going to roll to the side and come onto all 4s. Okay. This is cat-cow. We did this in the first video, right? And we're just going to take a look at your pelvis placement in a different vector. So wrists are underneath your shoulders. Okay, you can always come to your fists if you have wrist stuff, or roll up your mat so the heels of your hands are propped up on your mat. Okay, knees are underneath your hips. So this is your bridge work. You're just going to nod your chin, start to roll through your spine, and then curl your tail so you're in your imprint position. And you did that by using your belly. All right, so your forehead is looping towards your pelvis. And then go ahead, release the pelvis, stick your booty out into this, up towards the ceiling, and then float through your spine 1 bone at a time so the back of the head wants to meet the tailbone. Exhale, nod your chin, rolling through your spine, 1 bone at a time, curl the tail so the pelvis comes in that posterior position. Okay, now you're going to release the pelvis, rolling through the spine, back of the head meets the pelvis, your tailbone. 1 more, nod your chin, rolling through your spine. Oh, I reversed it that time. Curl your tail. Good. Exhale, reverse the tail. So stick your tail up towards the ceiling, roll through the spine into extension. Good. So now we're going to find our neutral spine. Okay, you can tell I'm from Utah. Okay, so press away from the mat. Neutral spine is about halfway in between those 2 positions of the spine. So your flex spine and then your extended spine. Neutral spine is about halfway in between the 2. Pull your belly in. Okay, inhale your right arm out in front of you. Exhale your left leg back behind you. Okay, now inhale, open your arm and leg out to the sides, and then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, open to the sides. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, open. Exhale, center. One more. Inhale, open. Exhale, center. Lower your hand and your foot. Good. I'm going to walk forward a little bit so I'm not hitting things. Okay, so take another cat-cow or cat-camel, all right, to find your neutral spine. Press away from your mat. Pull your belly in. Inhale your left arm out in front of you. Exhale your right leg back behind you. Open your arm and leg to the side. Exhale back to center. Inhale, open to the side. Exhale, back center. Good. So I'm keeping my hips and pelvis square to the floor. As that leg opens, the pelvis wants to do funky things. Okay, so if you have laser beams or headlights on the front of your hips, they would be pointing straight down towards the floor. Good. Back to center. Lower that hand. Lower that leg. If it's available to you, go ahead, take a child's pose. So sit your hips back towards your heels. Nicely done. Coming back up onto all fours. Okay, one other place that we want to look at pelvis alignment is in plank. All right, so I'm going to talk you through the variations. Okay, so reach your right leg back behind you, tuck your toes. Okay, now I want you to correct your pelvis so your headlights are facing your mat. And then inhale, pick up your other leg, all right? One long line from your head to your toes. Now, if this is not an option, you can always come down onto your knees and you want one long line from your head to your knee crease, okay? So if you're doing a full plank, you want to make sure that your belly is engaged and your butt is on, okay? So try not to sink your hips, okay? This goes into your low back. This is also really common in plank. Okay, if you don't feel your tushy working, okay, you need to bring it in line with your ribs and hips. Keep breathing. Okay, there's that tremble of truth. Pulling your belly in. Rest your knees down. Take a child's pose. Let's try that one more time. Okay, any kind of modification. Again, you can, if your wrists are bugging you, you can always do a forearm plank. Okay? Or you can just hold it on your knees for the modified plank. All right? Start with your wrists underneath your shoulders. Press away from your mat. Pull your belly in. Reach your right toes back behind you. Okay? Make sure your butt is on. And then lift the left leg and find your plank. We're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Take a stretch back. Roll your wrists out. Coming up into a high kneel position. Okay, arms will come out to the side. Bring one hand behind your head and you'll tilt to the other direction. So your wrist is underneath your shoulder. Reach out your top leg. Okay, now this is what tends to happen. The booty sticks out. I want you to press your hip forward with the bottom hip. Take your upper arm overhead. So you should have a nice long line from head to foot, okay? And it feels really, really good. And then you'll externally rotate that top foot, come up onto your knees, and then side bend. Forearm comes to your thigh, but you're still pressing those hips forward. Okay, try not to stick your booty out. And take an internal rotation of the leg. Come down to your mat for a nice side bend. Good. Externally rotate the leg to come back up. Side bending. Good. Okay, other side. So, hand behind the head. Reach that top foot out as you lower down. Okay, so your bottom hip is pressing forward. Okay, that's the tricky part. Okay, top arm overhead. Then you externally rotate that extended leg. Forearm comes to the thigh. And then you take a nice overhead stretch. Really try and straighten your arm. Okay, that hip is still on and pressing forward. Okay, and then side bending over back to your mat. Good. Inhale, pick yourself up, externally rotate. That's leg, and then side bend. Good, and coming up. Nicely done. All right, just to review, we went over neutral and imprint position. So if neutral is not something you can access currently, work on your imprint position. That's just connecting, using your abdominals to connect your low back to the mat, and that will help support your spine until you have the strength to hold in neutral. All right, so see you next time. And you can always access, or please access, all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.